So let's have some lectures today. I decided, due to positive response from my colleagues, they have learned how to give a compliment, and that motivates me to explain something to you. And today I decided to talk a little things from psychology, and I was also watching from the great courses. There were lectures, and one of them was history of medicine, which was really interesting. And that is what will it be about today. Maybe it's a little out of the context, but I hope you will like it to see what I want to show you. So, and we also have a modern tool, which you will see just now. And yes, I must also say that you're really good at rhetoric. Maybe you even surpass me. I'm a little bit chaotic. First of all, it's English, which I need to sometimes think about the words and all things. However, we have a new tool, table, digital, electronic, and I would like to go back to the history, to the temperament theory. Now, this is this has evolved, and you have more advanced models, but I will go with this simple one. It has roots in the ancient theory of humorism, and Greek physician Hippocrates around 400 BC, and later Galen developed this theory. They believed that certain human moods, emotions, and behaviors were caused by the excess or lack of body fluids called humors. You know, at the time they didn't know what is the function of the heart and the blood system, how everything works. They were also not allowed, I think, for many years to dissect human body and learn about the functions. So they believe all sorts of things. But this what they did, I think, was really good. And Hippocrates is also well known for Hippocrates' oath, which every physician needs to do at the end. And one of the oath, one part is that euthanasia is forbidden, that you are not allowed to give patient little dose of drug even if he or she asks you to do it. I have one example. It was near, I won't tell you where, but just it was a patient that they says if he will live, he will be just as a flower, a vegetable, because his brain was damaged. The water came in, and they asked the family if they want to keep him alive or not. And they decided to keep him alive, and it wasn't really good. So let's do this. We have four models: sanguine, choleric, and melancholic. And I found on the internet one interesting picture with selfies, which are expressing this. This is phlegmatic, and this is sanguine, and here in between is the mixture of the two. And here is melancholic, and mixture with the phlegmatic, or mixture with the choleric, and choleric with mixture on sanguinic. And here is the middle model. It doesn't look really happy, so if this is the average, then I can understand why people are not so happy. Well, some they are. So sanguine type characteristic is optimistic, cheerful, social, and energetic. Strength: enthusiastic, creative, and good at building relationships. Challenges: can be disorganized, impulsive, and easily distracted. Then we have choleric characteristic: ambitious, driven, and strong-willed. Strength: decisive, confident, and highly motivated. Challenges: prone to anger, impatience, and tendency to be critical, overcritical. Then we have melancholic type characteristic: thoughtful, analytical, and introspective. Strength: highly intellectual, empathetic, and good at problem solving. Challenges: can be overly critical of themselves and others, prone to sadness and struggle with indecision. That's why many scientists or artists who were really good were also very depressed, which is well known. But now they have all sorts of drugs which can help, antidepressant, for example. And final type, phlegmatic, characteristic, calm, peaceful, and reliable. Although I would say that if it's phlegmatic, it's unreliable. He or she just doesn't care. Strengths, patient, loyal, and great at mediating disputes. Challenges can be passive, resistant to change, and sometimes lack of motivation. So these are the 4 types, and as I said, new theories develop even more types, and you have many. They were also collecting how many words are about the temperament, and they found a huge number of words which they describe. And if you see this, I would say this one wins. This one is the optimum. It looks to me something between phlegmatic and sanguine. I think you come better. But of course, nobody is completely phlegmatic, I would say, 100%. We are all some percentage of that and some percentage of this, and it depends also on the situation and all of this. And as you evolve, you maybe become different and train yourself. So that's it for today. Thank you for your attention, ladies and gentlemen. And maybe see you soon.